I think I'm live. Hi everyone, welcome to another one of our LinkedIn live events. And today's topic is an interesting one. It's on overcoming different types of exhaustion and creating with ease. So, I have also done a live event, I think it was maybe last or last to last, wherein I spoke about loyalty to hustle. This topic is going to be a little bit different from that, but if you want to learn, let's say, different aspect of hustling or different aspect of exhaustion, you can also watch that live event. It's available on my YouTube channel. And for those of you who are attending this live event for the very first time, how we go about it is that I explain to you a topic in depth, today's topic being on exhaustion. And then you can ask me as many questions as you want while this event is going on. Or if you're watching this as a recording, probably on YouTube, then you can just put your comments down in the like you can put your questions down in the comment section. And if you are a part of my free community, the safe space, then you can of course directly text me and I would be happy to answer. All right, before I start, I'm just going to quickly check if my audio and video is fine, and then we will begin. I had to start 20 minutes late because I was facing some technical glitches, and unfortunately, I could not start before. Okay, great. I am live. All right. So, this is an interesting topic. Why? Because I have been noticing and speaking to a lot of people, both in my consultation calls as well as people who are my present clients, that there is this consistent exhaustion that a lot of people feel. And their instant solution to that exhaustion is to either go towards a coping mechanism like smoking, alcohol, binge watching, binge eating, or they resort to blaming themselves that I'm lazy, I'm a procrastinator, I can't do one thing right, look at other people who are so motivated and stuff like that. And I have found that this, like, either of them of course does not work. Neither the coping mechanism work nor like motivating, you're trying to motivate yourself by demeaning yourself, neither of them works. But a bigger problem is that you don't really know why the exhaustion is happening, right? And because of this exhaustion, multiple things can happen both at work as well as at home. And first we'll talk about that. First we'll talk about what is exhaustion, like types of it, what is the science of it, and then we're going to take a deeper look at the different types of exhaustion and how to really recognize which one you probably have, right? So the first thing I wanted to understand the term exhaustion is there is a difference between exhaustion and being tired. Okay, being tired is something that's normal, specifically after you've done something. Now that something could be a physical activity or could be a mental activity. So for example, let's say that you were shifting homes and there was a lot of things you had to pick up. Of course, a lot goes into shifting homes, so you're physically tired. It could be that you had a long day at office, which means that you had a lot of meetings. So yeah, maybe you weren't working physically, but mentally you had to do a lot. So that's tired. Or another kind of exhaustion is, let's say that you had a long heavy conversation with your therapist or coach, or you had a long heavy conversation with your partner, and after that you kind of feel that there's a lot you need to process. So that's emotional exhaustion, emotional tiredness. All of these are tiredness, right? Exhaustion is something that kind of lingers in the background. It doesn't really go away. So any kind of tiredness, it kind of goes away after a little bit of rest. It doesn't come back, right? Exhaustion is something that always lingers and you don't really have an idea, why am I feeling that? You're eating right, you're sleeping right, and yet you're unable to recognize, why do I feel tired all the time, or why is it that I don't feel energetic, right? Or what is actually happening that I just don't have any interest in the things that I used to do? Or why is it that, if I'm doing everything right, yet there is this no sense of spark or energy in my life or in me? That's exhaustion, right? And when we understand exhaustion in that way, we can like determine it into three categories. First is physical, second is mental, and third is emotional. So physical exhaustion, as it's pretty self-explanatory, it is because of the physical things that you do. Maybe you went for a run, maybe you played cricket with your friends, maybe you went out for a run with your friends, maybe you walked a lot today. For whatever reason, you exercised your body, and because of that you feel exhausted. Or maybe, let's say, for a while you have been like doing a lot of things physically, and because of that you consistently feel exhausted, right? Mental exhaustion is the exhaustion that is caused by thoughts that you think, right? Unhelpful thoughts, thoughts that drain you, thoughts that make it uneasy in your life. So for example, let's say if you're an overthinker, you're constantly overthinking about multiple things at work and in personal front and at home, and as a result all your energy is gone there. And third is the emotional exhaustion, the exhaustion that you feel due to the feelings that you're feeling. For example, you have been feeling very hopeless for a long time. That is going to take up your energy. You're feeling very anxious because let's say you have an interview coming up. That takes up your energy. You're feeling angry at someone. That takes up your energy. A very critical thing to understand is that exhaustion isn't just caused by doing physical activities, right? Any emotion and the thought that you think also consumes energy. And here I want to determine emotions are of two kinds, okay? High level emotions and low level emotions. High level emotions are the emotions that make you feel energized. So think about it. What were the last few instances where you instantly feel energized, right? It could be maybe you were laughing with your friends and you suddenly felt like this lightness in your body. Maybe you were playing with a kid and you felt this joy. Maybe you were doing something that you love and you felt passionate. These emotions are called higher level emotions, okay, not necessarily good or bad, but just emotions that energize you. And then there are also emotions that de-energize you, like fear, like anxiety, like hopelessness, like anger. They take up your energy. So whatever emotions that you're feeling on a day-to-day basis, they also consume energy. Similarly, your thoughts. For example, you think that, you know what, everything is going great in my life, I believe in myself. That thought is going to energize you. Whereas thoughts like nothing is going right in my life, I don't know how the future will be, I don't know if my work will pay off, that is going to consume your energy. So exhaustion is not just physical or labor wise, it is also through your thoughts and your emotions. And that is why, even though you may have a day job where you're sitting, the thoughts and the emotions that you feel on a day-to-day basis could be causing a lot of exhaustion for you. So don't think that I'm not really doing much yet I feel exhausted, or you know what, I'm just working 2 3 hours a day yet I feel exhausted. It's because of the thoughts and the feelings that you're feeling or thinking, right? It's the quality of them that's causing exhaustion. Now, how do you know that you are exhausted or tired? Because tired is short term, right? Exhaustion is long term. Exhaustion kind of lingers. Exhaustion is something that you just can't get rid of, right? So there are some thoughts that kind of tells you that you're exhausted or you're not exhausted. The first one is lack of interest. So you may suddenly feel that you're disinterested in the things that you used to feel interested in. Maybe you loved hanging out with your friends, maybe you loved watching movies, maybe you loved painting, maybe you loved going out, maybe you loved dressing up, and suddenly you just have no interest anymore. It could be you simply zoning out. You see yourself just spacing out in between the day, like a meeting is going on, you're just zoning out, a conversation with your partner is going on and you're zoning out. Somebody is talking to you about something and you're just in your own world. You have no interest. Third could be you don't have any desire to upskill. This is more relevant to your work front, right? Wherein you feel that I just don't want to upskill. Like maybe mentally your mind is telling you that, oh no, you need to upskill, but your body just keeps resisting it. The moment you sit down to learn a new course or whatever it is, you simply feel that I just don't want to do it. Like I hate it, I just don't want to do it, right? Another could be that you have the resistance from your body in whatever it is that your mind wants to do. It could be a simple task, it could be a simple conversation that you need to have, and your body just tells you that I just don't want to do it. Like mentally, you know you need to do it, and it could be a very simple thing, but body wise, you just don't want to do it. Because ultimately, the exhaustion comes from the body. Your mind is like the toxic boss who will keep on demanding things from you, but your employees are your body, right? And unless and until you don't check in with your body, your toxic boss, your mind can keep shouting things, but your body will not cooperate. And another very visible sign is procrastination. When you keep on procrastinating, it means that there is a deeper exhaustion that you're not aware of, and that exhaustion can be of your mind, can be of your emotions that you're not aware of. And that is why exhaustion is not always conscious, by the way. Exhaustion can be very unconscious, very invisible. Like you don't even know the thoughts that are causing you exhaustion. That is also very real. Because how aware are you of what is causing exhaustion depends on your self-awareness and the level of inner work you've done. If you have done your inner work, then you will instantly know what is causing you exhaustion. If you have not, then you're going to feel confused. I don't know why I'm exhausted. For example, a lot of people, feel this disinterested feeling or the zoning out feeling in their work. And on the surface level, they think, oh, everything is good. I'm being paid good money. My colleagues are good. The work is good. Why do I feel exhausted? On a deeper level, they simply have outgrown their field, or they simply just don't want to pursue their field anymore. But it's so difficult to accept that feeling or thought. So they bury it. yet the exhaustion is, piling up, but they don't, that thought is not conscious that I don't simply want to pursue this field anymore because the safety is so much, right? The safety of good money, the safety of good colleagues, the safety of good projects is so much that it's so difficult to accept that I just don't want to do it anymore. Yeah. So exhaustion also comes when you're simply ignoring your needs and ignoring your inner voice. And there's a reason you ignore your inner voice, and we're going to talk about that. But I hope you so far understand what exhaustion really is and what are some signs of it. Okay, now before I move forward, I'll just quickly check if I'm still visible and audible. Okay, I am. So we'll go along. And of course, if there are any questions in the middle, please feel free to like comment down. And at any point of time, if my internet fluctuates, because it sometimes does, please let me know so that I have an awareness of it. Okay, now let's talk about the first kind of exhaustion, which is physical exhaustion. Now physical exhaustion is something that you're somewhere aware of. It could be, feeling sleepy all the time. It could be just not having the energy to do something, not being able to take care of your body, meaning that you're unable to exercise, you just don't want to do it, you don't want to do simple things, right? Now physical exhaustion often happens when you have too much on your plate, right? And you have too much on your plate due to two reasons. Okay, first is that you are doing it to prove something, right? And this can be so unconscious that you're not even aware of, right? You overestimate your ability to take on things, you overestimate your ability to like do things, and as a result you keep on taking on too much and too much and too much. And this can also come from place that I need to prove myself to people that I can do so much, or that, what, I want people to show that, oh, this is how much I'm capable of. The second reason physical exhaustion can happen is that you're simply not getting enough support, right? Or a better way I would be say, I can frame it as is that you're not creating enough support. Maybe you were someone who was working at your home also as well as in your office, and your partner is not supportive, your colleagues are not supportive, and you're also not asking for the support because you feel that it's just better not to ask. Or it could be that I don't know how to ask. It could be that, I've never asked, so it's better that I do it myself, right? So there is somewhere a receiving block, right? There is somewhere that uh, that block where you feel that I just can't ask for support, or you believe that the people who are in your life right now simply do not offer you support. So, I'll tell you one interesting thing. Exhaustion will always point towards the visible gaps in your life, or visible toxic relationships or toxic patterns in your life that you are not paying attention to. So for example, let's say your partner is just not helping around at home at all, right? That's a sign that you and your partner do not have an equal relationship, that you are not taking enough support from your partner, or maybe your partner is not offering you support and you just don't want to have that conversation. Or probably you are stuck in a relationship where you are the giver all the time. Or at, let's say, at work you are unable to ask for support because you feel that, no, what will people think of me? That's a you problem, right? You feel uncomfortable asking for support. You don't know how to delegate work. That could be another problem, because again, there could be multiple reasons why you are unable to delegate. Maybe you feel that I don't know how to do it. Maybe you feel like it's just better I do it myself. Maybe you feel like, what if people say no? Maybe you feel like I don't know how to do it. So the physical exhaustion in this case, and in fact any kind of exhaustion that we'll discuss today, will always point to a deeper problem. It could be in your relationship, it could be at your in your house, it could be related to your family. For example, let's say you are doing a lot for your family. You are paying for them, you're doing chores for them, you are helping around with everything, and yet nobody is really coming and helping you out, or you yourself are not asking for that, and you're exhausted all the time. Well, that exhaustion is because you don't know how to ask for help. Or there's a deeper probably feeling at play. Maybe you're feeling guilty, maybe you're feeling responsible, maybe you're feeling like, no, 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 my family is my entire responsibility. So that could point towards a deeper guilt, a deeper shame, a deeper fear of rejection, a deeper unhealed trauma, right? That's dictating your life. So if you are physically exhausted, look at your life and see, why am I not creating support? What is the reason? Is it because of me, or is it because the people in my life simply don't want to support me? Is it because I'm in a relationship where I always keep on giving and giving and giving? And probably because I have a receiving block in my life, I have normalized it. I've normalized my exhaustion. I've normalized me giving and giving and giving. Is that the case? Reflect on it. What is it? Am I not asking for support because there is something I feel, or I have asked for support and the people in my life are not supporting me? Because exhaustion is a symptom, exhaustion is not the problem actually. And I tell this to all my clients. Anything my clients come to me with, procrastination, exhaustion, lack of confidence, it's never the issue, it's the symptom. The issue is something else. It's far more deep rooted. It's something that's probably unconscious and invisible. And how do you find that out? You find that out by asking yourself the right questions. And if you don't know how to ask yourself the right questions, you simply, take help. You do deep inner work. That's the only way. So many times I've worked with people who are stuck in this physical exhaustion cycle. They keep on giving and giving and giving. They're working so hard. And it's because they are not creating enough support. And when we go deeper, why? There are so many reasons. Fear of rejection, fear of, you know, what if people say no to me, fear of maybe people just don't want to support me, maybe let me just do it on my own. And that brings me to the next point. There's loyalty to hustle as well. And you will understand this topic better in the live event I did, I think last week or last to last week, where you are someone who has normalized struggling in your life. You may even take pride in it. Oh, I work so hard, I do so much. And because you put struggle on a pedestal, you put hustle on a pedestal, exhaustion is a part of you. And you think that when I'm exhausted, that is when I've truly worked. So you've normalized struggle for you, you've normalized exhaustion for you. Why do you do that? Go watch that live event and you'll understand that in depth. There are many, many reasons. The next one is you have the habit of taking on too much unconsciously. You may not even be aware of that, right? You may not even be aware that I'm doing too much. Why? Because probably it's coming from childhood trauma, that I have always had to do so much. I've always had to give so much that now when I take on too much, it just feels normal to me. It just feels familiar to me. So your body keeps on telling you that no, I've reached my breaking point. I can't do more. Your mind keeps telling you no, we can do it. And you may even be taking on as a challenge that no, I can do it, I will prove myself. And that's quite stupid. There's nothing to prove. It's your life. You have nothing to prove to anyone. You don't get a medal for being exhausted. So when this is the case, reflect. Am I taking on too much? Do I have no boundaries? Am I not asking for help? Do I have the loyalty to hustle? Which is it? That's physical exhaustion. Now coming to the mental exhaustion, I'm just gonna check if I have any questions so far, and then we'll move on to the mental exhaustion part. So somebody said physical exhaustion is equally required, otherwise, how will one sleep? I don't exactly know what this question means, but I think what you're trying to say is that you are required to exercise physically. Please understand the difference between exercise and exhaustion. Okay, when you exercise physically, your body gets the required movement it needs to sleep peacefully at night. But if you believe that you need to be exhausted to sleep at night, then you have a very misplaced understanding of what exactly movement or exercise and body is. And I don't blame you for it. We live in a culture where we like to put exhaustion on pedestal. And an example I like to give is simply, you must have seen people, right, saying that and you can find it probably in your parents generation, that your parents would tell you, oh, in our days we used to work so much, you guys need help all the time, you guys want to hire maids, you guys want an easy life. And when people say that, I always like to ask them that why do you fantasize about a hard life? Why do you fantasize about a struggling life? Have you thought about it? Because you have to understand, and specifically I'm talking about in the Indian context, and this is a diverted topic from what we're talking about, but I just want to talk about it for 2 minutes. Is that you must know that a generation of your parents, like the entire generation of your parents, and even now, maybe in your generation as well, whatever you are in your 20s, 30s, 40s, a lot of people grew up with a lack of resources, right? They just didn't have enough. And because they didn't have enough, they had to struggle. And because it is so difficult to accept that you're living a hard life, you start to romanticize it. You start to romanticize and fantasize about a hard life, and it becomes like a point of pride for you, right? That, oh, I lived such a hard life, oh, I do this much and that much. Now the problem with this kind of thinking is that you make struggling and hustle your normal, and when you do that, you attract just that. You have to understand that you will only create what you normalize in your life. When you normalize abundance, when you normalize an easy life, that is what you will create. When you normalize a hard life, that is what you will create. Whatever you normalize, you will end up creating that. So when you normalize exhaustion and struggle, scarcity, when you think that, oh, I'm thriving in less resources and I'm so amazing, you will always have less resources, right? That's not a point of pride. Understand that there is no medal for struggling or exhaustion. Understand that. No, only you feel pride in it because it's a coping mechanism. So whatever you normalize, you will get that, and that's okay if you want to normalize hustle or exhaustion. But something that I encourage my clients is that you can have a good life. You can have a good life, and you will only have a good life when you make that your normal. And for that, you're gonna have to overcome the trauma bonds that have resulted into you fantasizing and romanticizing struggle. You must have seen a lot of women and men from old age tell you that, oh, why do you want such an easy life? Why do you want help for everything? Well, I want you to ask them, why not? Why can't I have an easy life? Why can't I have a good life? Why do I have to prove to people that I have mastery? Right? So, to come back to the topic, no, exhaustion doesn't mean that you will sleep better. In fact, exhaustion will mean that you will not sleep better. For sleeping better, you need movement in your life, you need movement in your body, you need satisfaction, right? Exhaustion can come from anywhere. You can work a job you hate and you will feel exhausted. Doesn't mean that you will sleep good at night. But what you need is a life that feels good to you, that feels aligned to you, so you can have a sleep, like peaceful sleep at night. So that is what we call exercise, and that's not exhaustion. So I hope that's clear. Now coming to the mental exhaustion part, as I told you, we often have a habit of only believing what is visible. Just because something is invisible does not mean that it's not impacting you. And I want you to understand the depth of what I'm saying. And this is where mental and emotional exhaustion comes from the picture. What is mental exhaustion? Mental exhaustion is the exhaustion of the mind, exhaustion of the thoughts, exhaustion of everything that you are thinking, right? And as I told you in the beginning of this life, that there are two kinds of thoughts you think thoughts that energize you, thoughts that de energize you. So, mental exhaustion looks like constantly thinking about thoughts that drain your energy. And these thoughts are often fearful, anxiety driven, and induces scarcity in you. For example, let's say you're working your job and you're always terrified, what if I lose my job? So you go into your workplace and you're constantly analyzing your boss's behavior, constantly seeing, oh my god, who is getting laid off. You feel the need to people please your boss, you feel the need to say yes to everything, right? What is going to happen as a result? A lot of your energy is going into overcoming this scarcity driven thoughts. You are stuck in survival mode, and when you are stuck in survival mode, a lot of your energy is going there. And always remember, just because something is in your mind does not mean that it's not going to consume energy. It is consuming energy. In fact, you and I are white collar laborers, right? We sit in our desk and work. We are not manual laborers. So most of the exhaustion that comes to us and in our life is because of the mental and emotional exhaustion. So when you're always firefighting in your brain, every single day you wake up with overthinking. You wake up with thoughts that make you feel fearful, thoughts that make you feel, oh my God, I'm so small, thoughts that make you feel that there is not enough in your life. There is a lot of scarcity. Let's say fear of losing a job, fear of being poor, fear of not finding a partner, fear of my partner leaving me, fear of my boss telling me that I'm laid off, fear of nothing will work out in my life. All of these thoughts, right? They bring your energy down because they consume a lot of energy. So all the overthinking you do, it's not normal. It is there is a cost you pay. There's a price you pay for overthinking, and that comes from your energy. And the energy that's been going there is the energy that's not going into actually bettering your life, improving your life, because you can't survive and thrive at the same time, right? If you really want to thrive, you have to come out of your survival mode. And the only way to come out of survival mode is to do deep inner work, right? It's to actually address the thoughts that are consuming your energy, because otherwise it's not going anywhere. And that is why you will see something that happens to overthinkers a lot is that they forget things. They're always lost in their thoughts. They constantly feel exhausted. They constantly feel like, I don't have any interest in my life anymore. Why? Because all the energy is gone in firefighting problems, right? A few Characteristic traits that can signal mental exhaustion is indecisiveness, constantly battling with anxiety, lack of confidence, um, fearful thinking, a lot of fearful thinking, and a lot of thoughts around ego and arrogance, a lot of thoughts that are very angry and defensive, where you always feeling that, oh my god, I have to protect myself, I have to defend myself. Thoughts around like I have to please other people, thoughts around what are people thinking about me, anything that is fear inducing, that puts you in this survival mode, right? That puts you in this defensive position that I have to protect myself. That's always going to cause mental exhaustion. How do you overcome it? You go to the root cause, and I've spoken about multiple of these issues. I've spoken about indecisiveness, spoken about lack of confidence multiple times, I've spoken about people pleasing. Just go and find a live event on it and you will understand the root cause of this. All of this is not because somebody told you something or of that. It is always due to unhealed childhood trauma, and the answer to overcoming all this is to do deep inner work, to release all the trauma that you've been carrying. And of course, if you need help with this, you can always work with me. You can drop me a DM coaching, and you can always work with someone else too. It doesn't matter, but take it seriously, because this doesn't go anywhere. Okay. The and, and what tends to happen is that when you are carrying unhealed trauma, it's like a wound. And the wound doesn't heal because you choose to look away. The wound heals when you tend to it, when you understand, why did I get hurt in the first place? And then you tend to that, right? Forgetting and looking away doesn't solve something. Now, coming to the emotional exhaustion part, again, before moving forward, I will check if there are any questions that I have. Hi, Rianshi, need your guidance and coaching about how to live a healthy and fit lifestyle. So I don't understand what do you mean by healthy. I can tell you how to live a mentally healthy life, sure. The answer is very simple. Like, check within what is. So again, right, when you don't know how to do something, look at, or when you don't know what you want, simply look at what you don't want. So a mentally healthy life is pretty simple. You just have to look at your life and see what is causing me discomfort. Is it my thoughts? Is it my career? Is it my love life? Is it my relationship with my parents? Is it my relationship with money? And you work on that. Once you start with that, everything will start to open up. Now, when it comes to a physically fit life, I'm not a health coach, so I don't know. You can probably take that guidance from someone else. Now, coming to the third part, which is emotional exhaustion. How does emotional exhaustion actually happens, right? Now, emotional exhaustion happens when there are unresolved feelings, either from the past or the present or about the future, that you are not dealing with, right? Emotions that you're not dealing with, uh, or unresolved emotions from the present, could be because of the present problems that you're experiencing in any area of the life. Again, health, money, relationship, career, whatever, your relationship with your family, whatever, and you're not dealing with it. Every single day you don't deal with it, the emotions don't go anywhere. It's getting stored up in your body. And because it's getting stored up in your body, it's taking up energy every single day. Because you have to realize that as human beings, we are, you know, like, we are survivors, right? And how do we survive? We survive by solving problems. So when you don't solve a problem, your body doesn't forget. Your body keeps on trying to find a solution to that problem. So as a result, every single day you will be aware of the emotion that you're not tending to. For example, let's say you have a lot of anger towards, let's say, an ex partner of yours. You are going to feel it every single day. It's not going anywhere until you actually deal with it. Similarly, the emotions of the past are often unhealed childhood traumas, unhealed emotions from the past, emotions that you chose to ignore, emotions that you couldn't resolve, right? That is again going to manifest in some way or the other. Could manifest itself in coping mechanisms like being angry, being shut down, um, not like fleeing from any difficult situation, not allowing yourself to love, not allowing yourself to dream bigger. It could be multiple things, right? For example, let's say that you are someone who fears failure and you're not dealing with it. How will it manifest? You will not take enough risk in life, you will not believe in yourself, and as a result, over a period of time, you will start shrinking and shrinking to a point where you're so scared that you don't want to do anything without validation, right? Or it could be emotions of worrying about the future, which is what we call anxiety. Right, anxiety is the emotion of the future. When you're not dealing with it, it's going to consistently take up energy because it's not going anywhere. Right, just because you choose to ignore a problem does not mean that it goes anywhere. It just starts to manifest itself in physical diseases. So people who tend to have the most amount of diseases are usually the people who are not dealing with their emotions, right? Because emotions is what? Energy in motion, and energy does not get destroyed, right? It gets converted from one form to another. So when there is trauma that's living in your body, that's a lot of energy. And what we do through trauma release work, through inner work, is we release that, we turn it into something else, right? um the second thing is could be the trauma motivated goals and the exhaustion that's coming from it. So something that I like to always tell people is that whenever you are pursuing something in life, right, be it a relationship, be it a career path, whatever, I want you to start asking yourself, whatever it is that I'm doing, is this something that I'm doing because I want it, or is this something that I'm doing because someone else taught me to want it, or someone else wants me to do it? Because oftentimes you may also have the emotional exhaustion of the trauma that you're carrying from the past. For example, a lot of people start their career from from a place of scarcity and fear. Oh my god, what will my parents think of me? Let me just get a job, or let me do an MBA because everyone is doing it. Let me do CA because my parents want me to do it. Let me become a doctor because my parents will be proud of me. Let me do this. Let me crack this government exam because my parents will be proud of me. So these are trauma motivated goals. They're not coming from you. You are scared that if you don't pursue them, someone will not love you or accept you, so you do that, right? These are trauma motivated goals. So for example, you must have seen some people say that, oh, you know what, somebody left me and that is why I decided to do well in my career. Well, their initial motivation was completely scarcity and fear. So we don't really know that this person will actually end up being happy in what they're doing, right? It's a coping mechanism. So oftentimes when your goals are coming from a place of unhealed trauma, right, and how do you figure that out? Simple. When you started pursuing this goal, was it from a place of satisfaction, happiness, fulfillment, or from a place of I need to prove myself? If I do this, my parents will be proud of me. If I do this, everybody will look at me. People will praise me. People will love me. People will accept me. Where is it coming from? When you do something for yourself, it will not feel exhausting. When you do something to get something out of it, most importantly, other people's acceptance and love, there will come a point where you will not align with it and the exhaustion will come in, right? So that is what trauma motivated goals do to you. And the third part I want to talk about, and this is a very important part and something that only gets revealed when I'm doing, when I'm making a traumagram of my clients. So again, if you don't know what a traumagram is basically a family system chart that I make of my clients, because I do childhood trauma and intergenerational trauma work with my clients. And we basically check in my clients' family system, both paternal and maternal side of their family, what kind of trauma they have inherited from their parents and their other family members, so that we actually get to do holistic work, right? Because again, talking about your problems doesn't really do anything. You have to release it from your body. So I want to talk about intergenerational exhaustion. What is intergenerational exhaustion? Sometimes exhaustion is a part of your family system. Look at your parents' life, look at your mother's life, and look at your father's life. Have you always seen them exhausted? Have you seen them always working to their bones, breaking their backs? Maybe your mother was always doing household chores. Maybe your father was always busy with his business or with his job. Look at your grandparents, look at their life. Has exhaustion been always been a part of them? Because if the answer is yes, then the exhaustion that you feel is also intergenerational in nature. You have to understand that whatever your parents have felt, it doesn't go anywhere, okay? It gets decoded in their genes. And when you are born, you're born with it, right? That's epigenetics, right? The feelings that your parents have felt, it gets decoded into your genes. So exhaustion that you may feel, or the loyalty to exhaustion that you may feel, is also because the exhaustion is present in your lineage. Your parents have deeply felt it, and you also feel it on behalf of them and as a loyalty to them. Because you have to understand that you are going to follow the path of your ancestors, you're going to follow the path of your parents. So if your parents have always chosen exhaustion, for whatever reason they had to choose it, they did not have any choice. Even though you may live a privileged life, or you may not have to exhaust yourself, you may unconsciously choose a path like that. Because at the end of the day, we always choose paths that make us feel closer to our parents. That is how we belong in the family system, that is how we feel close to them. And this is all very unconscious. And of course, if you're curious about this, and if you're curious about if this is something that is happening to you and you don't want it to happen, you can simply book a one-on-one session with me, or you can DM me coaching, and you can find the link in the feature section of my profile, and we will make a traumagram of you, and we will see if this is something that's coming intergenerationally for you as well. I have seen that exhaustion is a lot of times, at least 90% of the time, is also intergenerational. Because when exhaustion is extremely strong in your system, it's not just because of your past or your personality. In fact, the way your past has been and the way your personality has been is largely dictated by the kind of family you're born into, the kind of things you have inherited from your parents. There is a reason why for some people it's easy to take help and for some people it's not. There's a reason why some people find it easy to just live an easy life. They believe that they deserve better naturally. And for some people, even though they're capable, they don't believe it. They believe that only hard work will bring them success. So they keep on working and working and working. And for some people, life is just easy. The difference is how deeply do they believe that they deserve an easy life. And whether you believe deeply whether you deserve an easy life or not depends on a lot of factors. And it also depends on the kind of family system you come from, the kind of lives your parents have also led, because that determines your understanding of the world. Your understanding of the world comes from your parents, it doesn't come from anyone else. That's the first blueprint. And you will always walk according to your blueprint until you decide to actively change it through deep inner work, which is what we do in our trauma coaching sessions, trauma informed coaching sessions. Now, how do you actually resolve this exhaustion? The very first thing that I tell my clients is to identify what kind of exhaustion is it? Is it really physical or is it emotional or mental? You identify the exhaustion that you're actually feeling, because that's the first part of getting actually clear. Unless and until you don't know what the problem is, you'll never be able to solve it. For example, I once had a clarity call with someone, a consultation call with someone, who told me that, Rianshi, I feel very exhausted and this and that. And when we like did the coaching session, we found that he was a big overthinker and there was a lot of childhood trauma he was carrying. And he thought that if he simply took a vacation, it will go away. And I told him that it wouldn't, but you are free to do so, because I never tell people to work with me unless and until they want to. So I told them that, you know what, if this is something that you strongly feel will help you, do it. I don't think it will go away because the work is in front of you. But this particular person I was speaking to was a little bit delusional. They felt that, oh, a vacation will take it away. So they went on a vacation. Then they came to me 6 months later and then they told me that they're about to lose their job. So, just to give you some context, when this person came to me, their performance was dropping at work because there was a lot of childhood trauma they were carrying. They were a people pleaser. They were always afraid what are people thinking of them. They had an inferiority complex. And I told them that they need to work on this, right? And they thought that they're simply in the wrong workplace and stuff like that. After 6 months, when this person came to me, they told me that they're about to lose their job. They took multiple vacations, nothing helped. And that is when I had to tell this person that your exhaustion is not physical, your exhaustion is emotional. There's a lot of childhood trauma you're carrying and you're firefighting it every single day. And that is why the vacation is not going to help. Do you know when a vacation helps? When the exhaustion is physical, not when it's mental and emotional. But this person made it worse for them. They kept waiting and waiting and hoping that if they solved the wrong problem, things will change. Things will only change when you solve the right problem. So identify what kind of exhaustion are you experiencing, and don't gaslight yourself into thinking, oh, this is how life is. No, it's not how life is. Don't normalize exhaustion. Don't normalize living an unhappy life. Don't normalize hustle or struggle. Normalize ease. Normalize a good life. Normalize abundance for yourself. Because unless and until you don't, it will never come. And that is why you will see so many people, who keep on struggling because they've normalized it. They don't want to rise above it. They think that it's okay. Of course, if it's okay, then you will keep on attracting it, no? So recognize what the exhaustion is really about. And the second and the last step is work on it. If it's physical exhaustion, look at how you can reduce it. Can you take help? Can you delegate? Can you delegate your work? Can you ask for help to your partner, to the colleagues in your workplace, or whoever you need help from? And if you're unable to ask for help, do deep inner work. What is the reason that's stopping you? Are you feeling ashamed? Is there a fear of rejection? Is it because you are simply in a toxic relationship? Is it because your colleagues are not supportive? Is it because you lack confidence? What is it? So you have to solve your problems in a step by step manner. If it's physical exhaustion, try taking help. If you feel that, okay, I'm able to take help, great, problem solved. If I'm unable to take help, go deeper. Why am I unable to take help? What's the reason? And you will know what's the reason. If you don't know, again, take help, work on yourself, do deep inner work. And if you do know, you have the reason, this is why I'm unable to take help, work on that. Similarly, if you know that it's my overthinking that's causing me exhaustion, it's my, let's say, past emotions that's causing me exhaustion, it's my people pleasing, and again, if you're unable to recognize whether it's a mental or emotional exhaustion, that's also okay. Simply work on it, right? It could be your overthinking, it could be your childhood trauma, it could be your people pleasing, it could be your fear of rejection, it could be you going back again and again in a toxic relationship, it could be anything. Your job is to be honest. What is my exhaustion about? And work on it. You do not have to normalize exhaustion, right? That's a choice you have. And a choice is very powerful, right? You truly get to determine the kind of life you will live. So that is all for my side. I hope you understand the three types of exhaustion, and I hope you also understood how to actually resolve it, which is to actually work on it. Now, there are some things that you can do by your own. Physical exhaustion, I think, if you simply learn to delegate and you take help, you can resolve it. Mental exhaustion, if you're able to resolve overthinking, if you're able to have the difficult conversations you need to have with the people you need to have it with, you can resolve it. Emotional exhaustion can be difficult to resolve because it comes from unhealed trauma. There are things that you can do, start doing it, right? And then you will know what you need help for and what you don't need help for. And of course, if you ever need help, you can always DM me coaching to book a one-on-one session. And if you would like to learn more about the different kind of problems you must be facing, be it people pleasing, be it lack of confidence, I have done multiple live events on it, and they're available for free on my LinkedIn under the event section, or you can go to my YouTube channel. It's just named Rianshi Agrawal, and you can find all of it there. And if you're someone who's actually interested in understanding how childhood trauma actually affects you in different ways, I've also done a free boot camp on it. It's available on the featured section of my profile. And I've also done a really lovely boot camp on healing relationship wounds. So if you're facing specifically relationship problems, again, it's available for free. You can find it on the featured section of my profile. Okay, that's it from my side for today. I will see if we have any questions, and then we will bid a goodbye. Okay, I don't think we have any questions so far. If any does come up, then I'll probably reply to them on DMs. Thank you so much for showing up, everyone. And I hope you got what you needed from this small discussion. And of course, this topic is quite big, but you have to understand that exhaustion is deeply personal. Okay. What exhausts me may not exhaust you. What exhausts you may not exhaust me. And that is why it is very, very important to not generalize issues, to not generalize things. If a problem is specific to you, do one on one work so that you can get the required help that you need. Right. Thank you so much for showing up. And I will see you next week with another live. Bye bye.